Who am I? Hello, my name is Karina Sanchez. I am a 30-year-old Black and Venezuelan woman, born in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and raised in Orlando, Florida. I grew up around a diverse group of friends, which exposed me to different cultures, perspectives, and lived experiences that shaped how I understand people today. I am empathetic, passionate about supporting diverse and marginalized communities, and driven by a desire to continuously better myself. I have always enjoyed listening to others, engaging in meaningful conversations, and learning from the perspectives people carry through life. I believe everyone experiences their own journey, whether shaped by trauma, hardship, privilege, or opportunity, and each story offers insight into how people grow, cope, and become the best version of themselves. Please enjoy my digital storyboard. My understanding of diversity at the beginning. Before reading the textbook, I thought diversity mainly meant differences in race or skin color. I did have some knowledge of culture and different ethnic backgrounds, but I didn't realize how much depth they have or how strongly they shape people's experiences. I focused mainly on what was visible and assumed that was the most important part of diversity. I didn't fully consider other factors like identity, worldview, or life experiences. Because of that, my understanding of diversity was more limited than I realized. How my understanding changed. Now it has changed because I know that we are all different, but acceptance and understanding of one another's culture, sexual orientation, gender, age, religion, race, ethnicity, all of the above. Diversity, as described in our textbook, includes both visible and invisible differences, such as gender, race, socioeconomic status, and sexual orientation, all of which shape a person's experience and worldview. Our textbook also states that people develop different cultural worldviews, such as individualism versus collectivism, which influence how they think, behave, and relate to others. It also highlights how systems of privilege and marginalization affect access to opportunities and can impact mental health and counseling relationships. Not to mention, learning about microaggressions, which are subtle, often unintentional actions or comments that can negatively affect individuals from marginalized groups over time. And finally, the concept of intersectionality shows that individuals hold multiple overlapping identities that must be considered together to fully understand their lived experiences. My professional vision. My overall goal for my professional vision is to become a licensed clinical social worker who provides a safe space to support people struggling with mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, mood swings, and substance abuse. I am passionate about this because of personal experiences and my desire to be a safe, understanding space for people who feel not only unheard, but are alone. I also hope to help clients build coping skills, strengthen their self-awareness, and develop a sense of hope and self-worth, as not only that they're working through challenges, but just life in general. I want to combine empathy with evidence-based practice to support meaningful and long-term healing. Why I am passionate and what future colleagues should know. What I want my future colleagues to know about this field is that genuine empathy, vulnerability, and human connection are just as important as clinical knowledge. This work goes beyond treating symptoms. It's about helping people feel seen, valued, and capable of growth, even in their most difficult moments in life. It requires patience, cultural humility, and a commitment to understanding each person's unique lived experience. I also hope to advocate for greater access to mental health care, especially for low socioeconomic and marginalized communities, so that support is not a privilege, but a right. How I will use what I learned professionally. What I learned from this class and plan to use to support me professionally is focusing on building a rapport across cultures, avoiding assumptions, asking open-ended questions, recognizing systemic barriers, and adapting interventions to fit each client's worldview. A common theme throughout this class was the importance of understanding identity development, cultural values, and a broader societal challenge without making assumption. Effective counseling requires cultural humility and awareness of each client's lived experiences. Concepts such as systemic oppression, privilege, intersectionality, microaggression, and racial trauma all point out how deeply history and society shape mental health, trust, and access to therapeutic care. One example that stood out to me was the model minority myth discussed in the Asian American chapter, which may appear positive but truly minimizes the struggles and discourages clients from seeking help. It reinforced how harmful assumptions can be to one's mental health. I also connected with the TED Talk by Melanie Funchess about implicit bias and its direct impact with diagnosis and treatment in healthcare, reminding me of the importance of advocacy and self-awareness in a professional setting. My overall takeaway from this class is that meaningful social work practice goes beyond diagnosis or treatment. It requires empathy, cultural humility, and a deep awareness of systemic oppression, implicit bias, intersectionality, and racial trauma, which all shape clients' experiences and outcomes. I was already aware of cultural competence, but this class truly reinforced how complex identity truly is, especially for individuals with racially diverse backgrounds, immigrant experiences, and history of marginalization. It also reminded me that knowledge alone does not make an effective counselor. What matters most is self-reflection, transparency, and a willingness to learn directly from clients' lived experiences. Also, the film Moonlight pointed out how environment, relationships, and support systems deeply influence identity development and emotional expression. Overall, this has strengthened my commitment to embracing diversity, challenging assumptions, and creating a safe, supportive space where all clients feel seen, heard, and valued. Key lessons from each chapter: cultural humility, advocacy, identity, bias awareness, strength-based care, social justice, listening, and empathy. This will conclude my digital storyboard. I hope you learned about me, my passion, the knowledge I gained from this class, and my overall goal in becoming a clinical social worker. Thank you.